What's up guys, and welcome back to Jules Creates. Today I'm going over the 5 biggest mistakes, visual mistakes, I see on Instagram stories that you don't even know that you're making. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell. You'll always be notified when I put out a new video that way. And don't forget about my free course, Amplify Your Gram. I'll teach you everything I teach here, but more, and it is absolutely free to you. That link is in the description box, and that free course will be sent right to your email. Let's hit those 5 mistakes, guys. That first mistake is too close up. When some people post on Instagram stories, their camera is right here at their face. Let me just take this photo for you. It is way too close. You want to have a good ratio of the background and your face and maybe even your shoulders. If you can't even see your shoulders in the Instagram story, I don't want to open up that story button and be like, whoa, guys, back it up. So back it up a little. Now you don't want to be so far out of the frame to where you're not even in that frame. You want to have a good rule of thirds, as I call it. So where your face is in that first third here, and you can see it on the picture, but we still have 2/3 of it of negative space. You can put yourself in the center or in the bottom third. That would be a lot of negative space on top, but it is doable. But want to make sure that your face is not so close up that you're scaring people away from your Instagram stories. Next is too much bad light, too dark, too contrasty. You always want the light on your face, and you never want the light behind you. Just for frame of reference, I've turned on my flashlight so you can see. This is what happens when the light is behind you and facing into that camera. It's distracting. Nobody wants to see this instead of seeing this. This is so much better. Once that light's behind you, especially if you're doing a story and you're talking and you're moving, every time you move and that light pops out from behind you, it distracts people, and that actually auto adjusts your light on your camera as well. So that light behind is telling your camera phone that there's enough light, so it makes everything dark. And then once you move again and you put your face in front of that light, it's then telling your camera that it's now too dark and it needs to bring up the light. So it will auto adjust over and over and over if you have a light behind you messing that up. So always have that light on you if you can. Too blurry. That is our next one. When you're using your phone, it will look blurry if you do not clean your lens on the camera. So we have a lens right here and then here on the back. So use your shirt, you can use whatever you want to clean that lens. Tiny circles will clean it. I literally clean both the front one and the back one before I take any photo. I mean, if you're going to take it of something below you, you'll know you need to use this one. If you're taking it of you, you'll know you need to use the front facing one. But clean it in tiny circles, not with your thumb, but with a piece of cloth, a napkin, anything cloth will work, but clean that lens, because if you are too blurry, and I'm not kidding, it will look blurry, it will look fuzzy. You'll start to question the quality of your phone camera. You'll think you'll need a new phone. You'll be like, why is my camera quality so bad? Why does it look like I'm underwater? And then any light that you can see will look streaky, and it's all because you did not clean your camera lens. So clean your lens, fam. Too talking too much. So when you go to an Instagram story and it's a floating head talk, that's again when you have yourself and you're just looking at the camera and talking. You can do Instagram stories in 15-second increments, and you can only record 4 at a time. But you'll see that sometimes people will have a full long conversation, which I actually love, not discouraging from that. But if you are scrolling through a story and you have a talking head for 18 stories in a row and there's 0 captions, that's too talky. You need to caption those Instagram stories because you are not going to capture anyone's attention otherwise. You need to make sure that people are watching these at work half the time. Even though I know right now we're all working from home, but life will eventually come back to some sort of normal, and we'll be back in those offices and people will be sneaking their Instagram stories while they're on the clock. And if that's the case, they can't always have that volume on. And sometimes we just don't want to listen to you talk for 18 stories solid. So caption their story stories, and don't be too talky. It's actually something I'm working on as well, is to be more concise so I can get the same message out in less amount of time. So let's hit that and you can get to work. Too impersonal. This is actually the direct opposite of too talky, where you talk too much. This is where you never put your face on your Instagram story or your feed or your profile, and people either don't even know what you look like or never hear your voice. Hearing your voice and the power of video is so much. So make sure that you actually have your face on there. If you're afraid to get on there and talk to the camera and do that face to screen, that's all right. Start with maybe a boomerang, or you can maybe video yourself and then just put some music overlay so you're not necessarily talking, and that'll make you less nervous. But making sure people see what you look like, see how you move, and hopefully see how you talk and sound is a huge way to connect with your audience on Instagram stories. Bonus tip coming at you. When you are doing Instagram polls with the yes or no, always make sure and put it in the center somewhere. A lot of times I see those polls all the way over here to the edge, and while you may think, oh, it looks good there based on what I'm posting, this is a natural spot where I would click. So I have found that I'll accidentally click on people's polls, and they'll be like, do you like how I look? And it's like, hell no, and I click hell no. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I didn't mean that. So always try to put that poll somewhere in the middle or someplace where it wouldn't be a natural click, so you don't accidentally make people vote no on your polls. Then you have to get up all on your stories and be like, to those of you that voted no, just put that poll question in a good spot and the whole crisis is averted. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you'll always be notified when I have a new video that comes out. And don't forget about my free course, Amplify Your Gram. You'll learn a lot of what you just did today, plus more, and just hit that link in the description box and the free course will be sent right to your email. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.